was a Saturday night and the whole house was riding high. Both our teams, the U20s and the senior squad, had won their matches and the vibe was electric. One of the guys had brought out a massive bag of homemade potato chips, and like the hungry pack of young athletes we were, we tore into it without mercy. The night was clear. A soft breeze flowed through the open windows, and the constant hum of the boulevard across the street began to fade. Time passed, the noise outside died down, and the mood shifted. That night was rare. All of us were together in the same room. Me, my brother Alex, the hilarious trio from Veracruz, Gabriel, Antonio and Yael, my best friend Juan Esteban, who was half listening while texting his girlfriend from his bed, and two quiet guys from Mexico City, Logan and Nelson, who mostly laughed at the nonsense we were throwing around. We weren't drunk, we weren't high, no scary stories had been mentioned. We were all clear-headed, joking around, trying to outdo each other with the dirtiest jokes. That is, until Gabriel shifted the tone. He brought up something a few of us had experienced, those random footsteps in the night, the ones that sounded like someone creeping around the house, not walking to the bathroom or kitchen, just moving in the dark, trying not to be heard. But then he said something that stopped the laughter cold. He said something happened to him last week, something that made him afraid to go downstairs alone. It was a regular weekday night, around 9 p.m, after a full day of training. Everyone was winding down, and it was Gabriel's turn to shower. We had a busted shower system at the time, so we had rigged up this hose. The hose would be threaded all the way upstairs through a tiny 2x4 sized window above the shower, just so we could rinse off. It was janky, but it worked. Gabriel said everything was normal, until he heard movement downstairs. At first, it sounded like someone unpacking their gym gear, nothing weird. Then came louder sounds, thuds, things rolling across the ground. That's when he started to feel off. Suddenly, the hose he was using started to jerk, hard. At first, he thought it was a joke, someone messing with him, but the tugging kept going, more aggressive now. He rushed to finish up, threw on a towel and ran downstairs, ready to catch whoever was playing around. What he found wasn't a prank. The dining tables were scattered, chairs flipped over. Our giant bag of soccer balls, normally kept zipped and on the table, was open inside out, with balls rolling across the floor like something out of a nightmare comedy skit. It looked like a stampede had torn through the first floor. Gabriel stood there, towel on, flip-flops soaked, and finally said out loud what most of us had been thinking for weeks. I believe it now. When he finished telling the story, nobody had a joke to follow it. Nobody laughed. The whole room had this frozen, wide-eyed silence. Even Juan Esteban looked up from his phone. You could feel the tension creeping in. That was until Antonio, bless him, stood up and broke the silence with, "Me estoy miando, voy al baño." Everyone exploded in laughter. It was like a pressure valve had been released. He walked off toward the third-floor restroom, still cracking jokes, but right before he went in, he turned around and admitted he was actually a little scared. Now, this bathroom was the weirdest in the house. It had this fragile, hollow door with stained glass like a church window. You always felt exposed using it, like someone could see in, or worse, that someone was already watching. Alex stepped up, threw an arm over Antonio's shoulder and said, "Come on, I'll walk you there." The rest of us kept talking with Gabriel. Just as Antonio opened the door, a hand slammed against the stained glass and shut it in his face. Alex, standing right there, scolded him. "Wey, ya está ocupado, ¿qué no ves?" Then he knocked and apologized. "Perdón, no sabíamos que había alguien adentro." They backed off, waiting. The rest of us started laughing again, assuming Antonio had walked in on someone in the middle of a very personal moment. But then, it clicked. One by one, we started looking around the room. Juan Esteban was still on his bed, phone in hand. The three Veracruz guys, all right next to each other. Logan and Nelson there, me, Alex. Everyone was accounted for, so who was in the bathroom? A cold breeze swept through the room, not a draft, a presence. Without saying a word, we all got up and crept toward the bathroom like a pack. Alex stood at the front and said, "Voy a abrir la puerta, güey. Solo queremos asegurarnos de que estás bien." He opened it, reaching over Antonio. Antonio screamed. Gabriel laughed in that "I don't know what else to do" kind of way. Nelson and Logan stepped aside so I could see. The room was empty. No one inside. Just an old toilet, a stained glass door, and nothing else. We all stumbled back into the main room, faces pale, brains racing to find any logic, but there was none. For the first time, every single one of us had experienced something unexplainable, together, sober, awake. A moment that no one could deny or laugh away. Something or someone was in that house with us, lurking and unseen.